Meeting called to order. This is the July 14th, 2026 council meeting. Would the clerk please read the statement of compliance?
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et seq, having been duly advertised and posted in the municipal building in compliance with NJSA 10:4-8. The meeting will adjourn no later than 10 p.m. unless the majority of the council members present vote to extend the time.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. A moment of silence. Ed McDermott Jr., would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for a moment of silence. Be seated. The reason I asked Ed McDermott Jr. to lead us to the pledge was Ed just finished 4 years in the Army, and he's currently part of the National Guard, and I think it was only appropriate for him to lead us in the service. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kamala?
Here.
Council President Talamini?
Here.
Councilman Dumbert?
Here.
Councilman Eilert?
Here.
Councilman Pignatelli? Councilwoman Rose?
Here.
Councilman Saliani?
Here. Motion to excuse Councilman Pignatelli? So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, at this time, we're going to be swearing in Ed McDermott as a firefighter. So I'd like Ed and Ed Jr. to come forward.
At the 50. Thank you for your service.
Oh, sorry, Mayor.
Yeah.
Is that all his papers? Oh, it's-
We're going to switch it around, but before we get started, I just want to give a little bio on Ed and his son. So many people here already know Ed McDermott. Ed recently retired from the police department after serving 26 years. Ed started in Edgewater in 1990 as a member of the EMS. He's EMS certified, and he's current till today. So he served on the first aid squad here in Oakland as well. Ed also joined the Edgewater Fire Department in 1991, and he served from 91 to 98. In 1998, Ed moved to Oakland. He served another 10 years here in Oakland as an Oakland firefighter, so Ed's coming back to the Oakland Fire Department family. His son, Eddie Jr., just finished 4 years in the Army. He's currently in the National Guard. He's going to be holding the Bible for Ed as we go through the swearing-in ceremony. And I also want to recognize the fact that Ed's daughter, Erin, is also a member of the Oakland First Aid Squad. So you've got a family of first responders and people wearing uniforms from the McDermott family, and it's certainly worth mentioning and honoring these people as we get ready to do this. All right, so let's just give them a hand.
Lucky dad.
You certainly are. I'm going to put you on this side over here.
Sure. Switch
You're
it
going
up.
to stand next to Dad over there. Okay. Now, I know, Ed, you've done this several times.
A
So I
little
think
bit.
you probably do this by heart, okay? So, Ed, you're going to repeat after me, okay? I, Edward McDermott,
I, Edward McDermott,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and the governments established
and the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
on the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of a firefighter
of the office of a firefighter
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome back, Ed.
Yep, sure do.
There you go. Did you guys want to get a picture? I didn't. Oh, you got a picture?
Congratulations,
Thank
welcome
you.
back.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Let me go put the podium in.
All right, we're going to just take a quick 2-minute recess so we can set up the room and get the podium out, and then the firefighters wish to leave. You guys can either stay or leave.
Thank you,
2
Mr.
minutes to
Barry.
get started. All right, so I changed the order of the business today. We're gonna jump right into solid waste disposal and engineering proposals for stuff under workshop. So I just want to say a couple opening remarks before I turn it over to the Borough Administrator. First of all, I just want to remind everybody, this is only day 9 of the garbage pickup, and I just urge everybody, please be kind to the garbage men. They're just employees. Don't be mad at them. You want to be mad at anybody, you be mad at us and the people sitting up here in this dais. That you can be mad, but please respect the employees. So garbage kicked off on July 3rd with recycling, and as you know, we ran into some problems immediately right off the bat where the recycling was picked up for some people and our larger cans were tagged. What kind of fell through the cracks was the fact that they were supposed to pick up even the larger size cans that day with the sticker on it. Once we were made aware of that, we contacted Pompton Lakes. They went back later that evening and redid the town to pick up the rest of the cans. Okay. After that, we had a meeting on Monday, July 6th, members of the council, governing body, and Pompton Lakes to talk about some of the issues. And the biggest issue that was brought to our attention was clearly the size of the cans. That's really the underlying issue here. Everything's going well with picking up bulky waste, the couches, furniture, and everything else. We haven't received any complaints on the board here. We've certainly been inundated with several emails up here as far as the governing body, but I can tell you the service is certainly, it's getting better. We're into day 9. We've also got a complaint about some of the cans as well up in the reserve. Apparently there's bears going through the cans at this point and leaving a major mess up there. So we're dealing with that. We'll talk to NJDEP, see if we can do something about that, but there's clearly concerns about that can as well. I can tell you that we take this very seriously. Councilman Eilert and I, believe it or not, we know more about garbage cans. We were out there driving around, looking at cans, following some of the garbage trucks around, trying to really identify the cause of some of these problems and the resident complaints. We are aware of the fact that in the beginning, the garbage cans were being strewn all over the place. We have made contact with Pompton. They are trying to do a better job putting the cans back on the curb and not putting it in the streets, so we are acutely aware of that problem. At this point, I'd like to turn this over to our Borough Administrator, Mr. Coons. And Mr. Coons, why don't you kind of give us an update as well, and let's talk about the can size.
Sure, and I know you wanted me to talk about sort of taking it from the get-go.
Take it from the very beginning of how we got here.
Why
yes.
we were doing
Yes,
this.
thank you.
And I understand that, Suburban, was our vendor for a very long time. They delivered terrific service for residents, so this is not a service issue at all. It really became a cost issue. Over the last 10 years or so, our garbage collection costs have risen 290%. And in large part because you just don't have much competition in that industry. Towns, we're not alone, but we weren't getting multiple bids at all. It was just the incumbent bidding over and over, and that unfortunately is very common right now. So the cost rose and rose, and you were paying more and more and more for that service. So we started searching for ways to mitigate that cost and to try to save residents money. So a couple of years ago, we secured a grant with Franklin Lakes and Wyckoff and studied doing something with them. That really didn't, really prove feasible. And last year we started talking with Pompton Lakes. And that, when we started, it was under the guidelines of, hey, can you reproduce the service that we have? We didn't want to lose any of that. And so going into it, that was sort of the overall assumption and direction, and yes, they can do that. That'll sort of bear on the can discussion in a bit. So we were able to, to strike a deal on a contract for 4.5 years that, saves a considerable amount of money. I know we've put out this figure of $1.4 million. That, of course, is against what Suburban was charging us, in 2025, first half of 2026. So that assumes that there would be no change in that contract or in their price over that time for comparison purposes. And the cost reduction there works out, again, about $1.4 million. That works out to be about $250 per home over the life of the contract. If you start looking at what the cost likely would be over the next 4.5 years, even a 3.5 or a 3% increase, a basic inflationary adjustment every year, that cost avoidance, that cost reduction jumps up to a little over $2.2 million. That's a little over $400 per average assessed home. The state of the market has some variability in it right now, but based on what I'm seeing from towns that I was able to get data from, you're looking at something on a neighborhood of 6 or higher % on average, although towns structure that a little differently. And if you were to use that as sort of your metric for comparison, the savings over that period of time is $3.1 million. All right, and that's about $565 on the average home. So again, this wasn't a service issue, it was a cost issue. It's one of the biggest budget items for us, and it was putting a lot of pressure on the budget and trying to make the budget work, and we thought we could do better to provide a service at a lower cost to the residents. So that was sort of the impetus behind it. So when we went into it, and I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the can size now and how that came about. It was with the assumption that it would be based on the can regulations that we have. What are those? Well, we were going into this thinking it's 32-gallon cans, maximum of 50 pounds. Okay, that's what's in our newsletter. That's what our program standard was. It was not apparent when we were having these discussions that there were the magnitude of homes that were using the larger cans. That only became apparent much later as Pompton Lake started prepping everything. And they said, well, why don't you just use our standard, which is 45 gallon can, 60 pounds. So we're like, okay, that's, we'll put that out there. And again, we knew there were some people there that had the larger cans. We weren't aware of the total magnitude of that, at the time. But that's really it. And when we've had discussions with Pompton Lakes as far as what the rationale is for their can size, and it really comes down to worker safety, mitigating workers' comp injuries, back strains, and things like that, because garbage collection employees have one of the highest injury rates around. So it was all sort of really driven on their end by that, and trying to keep their employees from being injured. So,
Mr. Coons, can you just answer a couple questions? A couple residents have asked me, how come they can't reach into the large 60-gallon can?
We had asked that as well, and also it over time it becomes a safety concern. If you're doing that, you're moving quickly. You can get stuck with something, you can get cut with something, and they just want the practice to be that they're just emptying the cans or not having their employees reach into it. And I think I've shared with some of you in a town in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago, earlier in my career, we had in-house garbage collection. I had an employee slice open their arm from wrist to elbow on plate glass that somebody had put in their garbage can, and the guy just reached in and grabbed it. And so those sort of things happen. And so, their policy is to avoid doing that.
Can you also explain a little bit about exactly what a toter container is with the silver handle in the front and what was made for and what they weigh empty?
So the toters in particular are really designed for what we call the one-arm bandits, the automated collection. So they tend to be a heavier can from the get-go. And depending on the size that you have there, they can range anywhere from 25 pounds to 50 pounds, depending on the size, and that's empty. They weren't really designed for lifting and dumping by people. essentially.
Does anybody from the council have any questions for Mr. Coons?
Yeah, one of the feedback we've been getting is about,
Can you speak?
oh, I'm sorry. One of the feedback we've been getting about anything.
Steve, pull your mic forward, please.
Oh, where is it? It's behind my
There you
thing.
go.
All right. One of the questions I'm getting from residents is about, is there going to be, look at the yard waste, how we
Yeah.
handle yard waste?
Yeah, so that's something that doing yard work, I completely understand. The rationale for that, at least right off the bat, had to do with the fact that in their experience, most of the bulky waste gets put out over the weekend too, so it's collected earlier in the week. They thought they would be better able to accommodate everything by shifting the yard waste to the end of the week to even out the schedule. But they've also told me they're completely open to revisiting that once they have a little bit of time actually, getting their feet wet, getting everything, going and seeing what's what. They're open to that discussion.
Thank you. And then there's no change to bulky waste. So I've got a lot of questions about hay,
Correct.
couches, and those type of things.
Correct,
So-
there's no
Steve, you
change.
need to speak louder. The
Oh, I'm
audience
sorry.
can't hear you.
Sorry. About your couches and then the big bulk you put out on garbage days.
Correct, that's the same.
Anybody else from the council have any questions or comments?
Just, so are we planning to meet with Pompton anytime soon? Are we gonna just maybe have an ongoing scheduled meeting, maybe?
Yeah, I can tell you we are and will remain in pretty much daily contact with them to assess the program and make sure that they're, working towards meeting our expectations.
Okay.
Mr. Dumper, do you have anything? Nothing? Okay.
Maybe just briefly about I've heard from residents an interest in either a reimbursement or a lower cost for purchasing compliant cans. And we've discussed this quite a bit. I know for me, this is an ongoing discussion. I know for me personally, I would be in favor of the borough using its bargaining power, using its bulk buying power to secure lower prices on garbage cans for residents, if we can order them by the hundreds or by the thousands. One of the other ideas that's been floated is some form of a reimbursement plan. And just for the public, that is not something that I would personally support. As taxpayer money, I don't think should be used to buy private trash cans in this fiscal environment. I don't think that's a wise spend of taxpayer money. But if the borough can use its collective bargaining and its bulk buying power through DPW and other mechanisms, I think that would be a great use of the borough's power to help residents.
And speaking of that, just Mr. Coons, could you just reiterate to the residents that their cans will continue to be picked up till August 3rd?
Right, that's what we had worked out to give everybody, time to replace cans if they need to. That'll continue throughout the month of July.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can echo something
Sure, go
that
ahead.
you said, going back to the actual workers on the trucks, I don't think it's any secret that, I'm a frustrated resident too, whether it be the can sizes or the change in the yard waste pickup. Look, lots of people are frustrated. I can say that the Pompton DPW workers on the street had absolutely nothing to do with negotiating this contract. It was negotiated well before they were hired. And I think as Oaklanders, we hold each other to very high standards. I know we should all be held to a tremendously high standard, and I hope that we can show what Oakland is known for, which is being empathetic, which is being kind, which is being courteous to our brothers and sisters, and that includes those from neighboring towns and those who visit. So as the Pompton DPW workers come around, please do be kind with them. I think the relationships that will be built over time will be helpful and will alleviate some of the stress and some of the burden. But please do be kind with them. They are good, hardworking men and women. And I also want to call a shout out to our own DPW workers, as some of the pickups were missed on opening day. And there were obviously gaps in service. What many don't know, yes, Pompton DPW came back out to service our residents. Our own DPW workers were driving around in their personal cars, taking recycling cans and dumping them into the back of their own pickup trucks.
Town cars.
Sorry, the DPW cars.
Right.
They were doing it personally themselves, getting covered in garbage and recycling juice and everything else. And look, that's what that's the job, right? There's good days, there's bad days, and there's those in between. But I think, our own DPW workers continue to outperform no matter the season of the year. So again, when we see those, a kind word and a head nod goes a long way. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, and I just want to just build upon what Mr. Dumper said also. During the first 2-3 days when they had to come back, our own TPW guys were willing to step up, ride the truck, and get this done. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for the dedication of our DPW. And Pompton Lakes is certainly committed to doing this right and providing a good service. And they've made that abundantly clear to all of us. So, anybody else?
One more quick add to that. The administrative staff at DPW who was fielding calls that first day, they did a great job. They dealt with some irate clients, so I think they should also be included in the thank you for their hard efforts.
I was gonna say that all of the, I mean, I know Wendy had to field a lot of irate phone calls, and it wasn't fair to Wendy. It wasn't fair to a lot of the secretarial staff. You know, they're just answering the phone. And I just want to, this whole thing, it taught me a lot about myself with patience. I was kind of short with some of my council members, the staff, some of my friends. In some texts, we get a little overboard with our text chain, and we think we're funny, and then we're not. And I just want to apologize to anyone who I was impatient with. This is a big deal, and it meant a lot to everybody to make sure that this goes well. We wish it would have kicked off better. There was a hiccup that you know, it really, you know, we had an understanding, and it didn't go the way that it was supposed to. But once we made the phone call, they corrected it, and we're moving forward. Like the mayor said, it's day 9. It's going to evolve, and things will change, and we'll find out that this works better for us or that works better for them. But in the end, we're saving money. We gained a recycling center, and our garbage is getting removed. So, but Wendy, really thank you for all the calls you had to field. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, I was just wondering if, while we're figuring out how we're gonna reimburse or how we're gonna handle the trash cans, if there's any way we can go back to Pompton and maybe get an extra month out of them until we figure out how we're gonna handle it? You know what I mean?
Mr. Coons, you want to bring it back to Pompton Lakes?
I certainly can.
Okay.
Sure. You know, I'll make that phone call tomorrow.
If nobody else has anything, I'd like to open this up to public now for some comment concerning garbage and garbage. Yeah. Do I have a
I
motion?
apologize for leaving in the middle. I got to pick up my wife at the airport.
That's okay. Can I get a motion to open the public on
Motion
garbage?
open to the public.
Sir, did you intend on addressing the council while you were here?
No, I was talking to Elizabeth about it, and I'm going to come to another meeting, and if I have to, I'm going to call the mayor. I'm sorry, I just got the call this. So
That was
they're
at
coming
the
in
airport.
early.
All right.
So do you have a motion?
Can I get a
now?
Motion open to the public.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Stein, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, everybody like to speak, just name, address, and
Mike Guadagnino, 34 Hopper Street. Just want to say that a lot of this could have been avoided if there was some transparency. In November, someone came here before the council, before you, and asked about this, and your response was, thank you, anybody else? I mean, all what we were being told for the past few months is no changes, except for leaf pickup will be on a different day. And I know at the last month, we got inundated with a bunch of long readouts, and I have your reverse 911 call, and not once did you say anything about the cans. So if there was a little more transparency, I mean, I've spoken to you several times about transparency, and this is, this fell, if you guys had told us and warned us over months, look, we have to do it for X, Y, Z, and speaking of transparency, this savings is wonderful, I hope you get it, but Michael Corelli put in his Pompton Lakes flyer that there are fee escalators. What will these fee escalators be, and how they will affect our savings? Also in that contract, the people who read that contract, there are other changes based on population, and if we get out after 120 days, we owe $73,000 a year for 5 years. There's a lot more in this contract, there's a lot more going on that if you just would have explained to this, starting when this lady was here on November 5th last year, and started from there and just been transparent, it would have been so much better. This whole thing would have been, people would have been all right rolling this together. But no, we were left out of it, and it happened, and people were shocked because we thought no changes. no changes. And your voicemail to us was basically like, you know, we basically should expect a quick changeover, as if didn't even notice anything happened. So it's hoping to be a little more transparent. And speaking of transparency, I see in resolutions there's an $86,000 new process involving the police department. $86,000 in real people terms, that's fireworks for 2 years, maybe a little more. I hope there's more of a discussion than just burying these things in resolutions. So please be a little more transparent. I spoke to you about this in the past. This happened. I live in Oakland. I love Oakland. I don't want to see this happen anymore. Thank you.
Mr. Guarnieri. Anybody else? I think this young lady's back there. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate.
Name and address.
I thought we weren't doing address anymore.
Well,
My name is Liz
You-
Carletta.
no address.
I live in
There's no address
Oakland.
anymore.
No address, right? Okay.
Carletta. correct?
Carletta, yes, thank you. So thank you for the presentation up front, I appreciate it. And you addressed my main question, but I just kind of want to bring it up again, and it was regarding, and Mr. Eilert and Mr. Dumper both spoke about it, if there would be some sort of bulk purchase so that we could get new garbage cans at a cheaper rate possibly. And then my follow-up question to that you addressed, like, could it be extended, right? So I need new garbage cans. Mine are 63 gallons. I have one garbage and one recycling, and they've been awesome, but I get it. So I think I'm gonna need 2 of each, right, to kind of replace the trash that my family and recycling my family generates. So would they be either available free? I know some people were saying they came and got a free can, one of the little guys, but maybe I could do with buying one big one and getting a little free one. I don't know if I was supposed to get one when I moved in here to town or not, but I
You talking
never
about the
did.
recycling container?
Recycling, yeah. So my questions are about that, and if it could maybe be bumped out another month for you to figure that out, so I don't have to buy it on August 2nd, right? If that's what it comes down to. So I'm hoping, I realize you don't have the answer based on what I heard tonight, but hoping you can provide that answer at some point. And a few other things that just came up while you were talking. I just want to confirm that there's no limit to the number of cans.
There's no limit.
No
That's
limit. How do we get rid of our old ones?
Put a sticker on it, say trash.
Garbage?
Yeah,
And
just
they'll
take it away,
They'll
yes.
take
They'll
it
take it
empty?
away.
Okay. And is it 45 gallons or 42?
45.
It is 45. Thank you. And then one other comment, you, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned about in the reserve there's a bear
Yeah.
issue, but bears are everywhere in Oakland, right? Like not just up there. It may be.
Oh, they're by me.
They're right. They're everywhere.
everywhere.
We know that, and they're wonderful. I love them. And then you mentioned the DEP,
Oh,
and
just-
so I'm concerned that there's gonna be some issue with the bears now, which was not a concern before I heard that tonight. So I just want to make sure the bears are not penalized for us not having real food.
I don't think it has anything to do with the garbage cans. I think they're just a
Yeah,
bear problem.
okay, well, that may come later, but I just want to make sure whatever conversations you're having with the DEP are bear-friendly conversations and they're not the victims of this.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Dean Trevisani, 207 Ramapo Valley Road. I've lived in Oakland for 62 years. It's a long time. And sometimes changes come hard. Some of the things that I'm going to bring up are already talked about. One of them is the expectation that was set, the expectation that nothing was going to change. The concern really is, for me anyway, is does this mean that everything that the council chooses to do, we need to read the fine print? And we need to look over everything to make sure we understand it? We cannot trust the word of the council? That concerns me, because we trust you to have our best interests at heart, okay? And that's, I think, one of the biggest things that has upset the town and upset me. The young lady just asked the question about what do we do with the existing cans. I'm glad there's a resolve to that. The cost of new cans. I don't care whether it's a $30 or $50 cans. I don't know how many, I'll estimate what, maybe a third of the town houses have to replace their cans. All right, I have 4 cans. I've got 2, one for commingled, one for cardboard, and then I've got 2 other cans. Now, I might need to buy a 5th can because they're going to be half the size, because the 2 cans I have are 65 gallon roller cans. So now I gotta buy 5. Let's say 50 bucks a piece, that's $250 I gotta spend, all right? That's $250 I gotta spend. Now you multiply that times what, 1,500 households? All right, whatever that is, was that $300,000? Okay, the savings is gone in the first year, and that's only with a third of the people in this town. So the savings, and again, I'm not sure if those numbers are correct. It's an estimate, but I'm just saying that that was a waste, at least for the first years. You know what? I'd gladly pay an extra $5 a month.
Me too.
$60 a year to have them come in, take my garbage. I want to know, was there any discussion about where the savings was going to be put into this town? What is the benefit to this town? Does anybody know what the benefit to this town is? I don't know.
Taxes went up.
So, yeah, my taxes went up. So our taxes haven't gone down. I don't think, you know what, maybe they'll go down $5 a month. You know what? I'll give you the $5 back and you can go back to the old company. And again, one of the other questions was going to be, and I mean no disrespect, I'm a little upset. And I have a lot of friends. Again, I grew up in this town and I know a lot of people. And I get calls from a lot of the people in this town as well, so I need to share their voices as well. When I used to wake up on Monday morning at 6 a.m., I'd go out and I'm going to the gym at 6 a.m. and I live on Ramapo Valley Road. My garbage cans were empty so that when I came home from the gym, I'd bring them back in and the streets were clean. I was driving down Ramapo Valley Road the other day at 3:30 in the afternoon and my garbage cans were still out there. The street, our main street, looked like garbage, okay? And to me, that bothers me. I'm a little OCD, ask my wife. And the thing is that it really is a bad look on this town to have the garbage out in our main drag until late afternoon. All right, and I know you guys don't want to answer any of the questions. Not that you don't want to, I'm sorry, but you can't during this time. Is there an out in the contract? I guess from what the gentleman just asked before, there is an out, but
120 days, $73,000 fine.
Hang on, guys, one meeting up here.
okay. All right, so there is an out, but it would be a costly out. It would be, from what I also believe I heard, the out increases the later, the more years in the contract. So there's a concern there. You know, if we did want to get out, if things did not really get any better or whatever. The Ace Hardware has cans that are 48 gallons. If I bought a 48 gallon, would they still refuse it? Yes. They would still refuse it. Okay. I don't know what to say besides that I'm disappointed in the council. I really am. You know, I know that you guys do work hard. And I also want to say that I've had a lot of tough jobs. I've done roofing and gutter work. I've done all kinds of other jobs. And the one job I never would ever do, or I wouldn't ever want to do, is pick up garbage. So you're right, that's a tough job. And those young gentlemen that do all this stuff, or whatever, regardless how old they are, they deserve respect. And they deserve to be treated fairly. There's no question about that. It's a tough job. I would want to do that job, so they definitely need some respect. I guess I've said what I need to say with regard to the disappointment with the townspeople. You know, you look on the Oakland site and you see what everybody's saying. I wish there were more people here to talk about it, but you know, not everybody is willing to step up and be accountable. So I'm building a new home in Oakland, in front of my house, actually. I have a subdivided buildable lot there. And I do want to say some things that I really, really appreciate of this town. Your building department, the ladies that are downstairs in that building department down there, I've done other projects here in town and through my history here, and in the past, I've had some rocky roads, but I will tell you, those 3 or 4 young ladies that are down there working in our building department, they are fabulous. They are thoughtful, they are considerate, they are willing to be helpful, they respond to emails, they pick up the phone when you call them, and everything else, and I just want to say hats off to those young ladies. They're great, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we give some clarity on the exit clauses?
Hang on, I'm going to just give you a minute here. Mr. Coons, could you just talk a little bit about cost avoidance?
Yeah, or Mayor, why
Let's
don't we
get all the
let
questions out of the way,
let
then we'll
everybody
come back at
speak,
the
and
end.
I'm taking notes, I'll try to address
Oh, you
everything
can
at the
come
end.
up. We're gonna,
If that's okay?
Yeah, you can come up. We're going to answer the questions at the end. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Will Lanzetti, 23 Chickasaw. Many of you recall I was here earlier this year when you were voting on this resolution and voiced my concerns. Many of them, like Mr. Mike had said, Mr. Guadino had said, transparency. And you told me flat out, what's wrong? What's the big deal? You're going to save money. And it's the same thing. There's no change of service. Well, that wasn't exactly true, was it? I mean, to say that now I can't put my garbage cans out because they're too big, that's a change of service. So, I mean, the transparency thing is a sort of a big thing because really at the end of the day, you know, it's not about the size of the can, it's what you put in it, right? So why is it that Suburban can do it, that for the 30 years I've lived in Oakland, they've always been able to do it, and now Pompton Lakes can't do it? Their garbage men, their little bitty cans they need to use to put them in the garbage, it's too heavy for them? Well, I mean, what is up with that? I mean, are we the borough of Oakland now? Come on. Really, if the can's too heavy, I mean, I always knew that. It's a big can, I'm not going to overload it. These people have a tough job. Suburban never had a problem. The carriers before, we've never had a problem with it. But now these cans, you can't use them. So yeah, there is a change. I don't believe this council was honest. I don't believe you were transparent. So what else aren't you transparent about? And what leads me to believe is the cost and what our savings will be. Because at the end of the day, these are projected savings. They're not realized savings. There are costs. There are variable costs in any contract. I haven't seen the contract. I don't know if anyone in the town has seen the contract.
Yes, it's on the website.
It's on our website?
Yeah, it's up. People have
Okay.
asked to
It's
go
not
on.
very good.
So I haven't seen it, I haven't looked at it, but I can tell you this, is like, well, why would you get into something like this? Because when you have these costs go through, at the end of the day, that $250 a year is gonna come down. And I bet your savings per household is gonna be somewhere between diddly and squat. At the end of the day, that's what it's gonna be. So really, like I said, savings are great, but do what you promised. Do what you told me. You all told me to your faces. You go back to the Oakland video and look at that and said there's no change of service. There is a change of service. So fix it. Why should people have to buy new cans? Nobody should have to buy a new can. You should be able to use the same cans that you do. The can, you put the garbage in, they take it, they lift the can, they throw it in the dumpster. Simple as that. I mean, that's all I have to say about that. And the only thing is that, you know, what else is going on in this town? Like, what else are we going to consolidate next? Are we going to consolidate the DPW and share services between other towns fully? You know, what's going to happen in the fall when we have inclement weather? You know, in the winter with the garbage service. I mean, essentially, you know, we contracted an amateur to do a professional job. What it is, what it boils down to. So I would say, like, you know, it's on you guys. I would say fix it. Otherwise, you know, come November, it's going to be the residents of Oakland taking out the garbage.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Maureen Mackerlane, 188 Hiawatha. I was the one in November who came up and asked for answers and transparency around our waste removal and the rumors that were swirling at that time. And the rumors turned out to be true, but we didn't find out about that until very late in the game. The contract, I think, was already signed at that point. And I'm not going to bring up anything that everybody else said, but all I can do is agree with their grievances and everything about the trash cans and things. Apparently were going to be the same for us, the service levels and things like that. But I do know a little bit about cost savings and cost avoidance, and there were some big numbers thrown out by the administrator. And I might challenge that the number one reason you brought up for switching providers was lack of competition. And as soon as you found a competitor, my question is, did you go back to Suburban and ask them for another quote once the competition was introduced? My guess is probably no, and I know you won't tell me right now because you can't answer me, but I think at that point, as soon as you start to project cost savings and cost avoidance over the 5 years and even further than that, you'll get less numbers than the 4 or 5 million that you threw out at the beginning of this session. So I just asked for those numbers be realized by the public, that those aren't real numbers, those are numbers without competition and projected at a very wishy-washy level, let's just put it that way. So I think taking that, I don't think the cost savings are as much as the council and administrator want you to believe. And then as soon as you take into account the burden on the taxpayers to purchase additional trash bins and things like that, things get a little bit more complicated for the townspeople. And then it was already brought up, where does this stop, right? What's the next service that we outsource and impact all of us? I think there needs to be more transparency. We've talked about this at the only other meeting I was at. We need more transparency. There's no trust. You know, these are really real things that now the townspeople have to deal with. And I would just ask that you heed that and listen to that moving forward, so we're not in this position again, right? 6 months ago, 8 months ago, when I brought this up, when we brought this up, we don't need to be here right now. We could have cared for this. We could have communicated better. The contract could have been better. The contract, quite honestly, is the out clause. Everything in that contract is for Pompton Lakes. There's little to nothing for Oakland. There's no service levels in there. The out clause is ridiculous. Like, there were a lot of opportunities for Oakland to do this better.
I like your shirt.
Oh, thank you. I bought this just for you. $8 on Amazon. $8 on Amazon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Vic Taffro, 12 Mountain Lakes Road. I want to thank all of you. Thankless job you have up there. But at the same time, the residents, I don't think I'm speaking alone, expect that you all are fighting for all of us. And from a business owner for 40 years, it's been partially brought up, but we didn't go back to someone who's done a phenomenal job. There's a lot of things you can criticize anywhere, but I don't think anybody came to the meeting and complained about the garbage service we've had for years has been exceptional. These guys kill themselves for us time and time again. Okay, you want to save money, that's great. Like it was brought up, I don't know anybody else here, but my taxes went up after this lovely savings, not down. And it's getting pretty ridiculous, the tax rate, but things go up. So you would expect garbage expenses to go up. It seems the most frustrating to me sitting here is there seems to be an extreme reluctance to challenge Pompton garbage people. Are they some kind of, special superheroes? Why wouldn't you go back and say, this is not $10 type contracts, this is millions of dollar contracts? And we're afraid to go back and have a meeting with them. We're afraid to go back and say, look, you told us no change. Maybe we should have read the contract a little better, but there's no change. And I understand workers' comp, I understand risk of drivers and everything else. The weight issue is a lot more important than the size of the can. It says in the new contract on what we received that it has to be bagged. So if it has to be bagged, what's the difference if it's in a 5-foot wide trowel that they take the bag out, or a 48 gallon, or a 65 gallon, or a 32 gallon? Weight is an issue. So put a weight restriction. Go back and let them compromise. Look, we understand you're concerned about your employees, but we will make sure our residents know that the can will not be taken if it's over 60 pounds. What does it difference whether it's 45 or 48 gallon tank? Doesn't make any difference at all. And for many seniors, having the 48 gallon with the rollers on it is safer for them, safer for the garbage men, and easier for the garbage men to roll out the 48 gallon cans compared to the 45 gallon cans. They're over $100 each. Oh, Google it. The gallon,
Hey.
yeah, they're $100 and something each. Depot, Amazon, whatever, the 48 gallon cans. The good ones that the bears really don't bother, which is another concern, that people don't want garbage all over the place. And I really wish someone would answer to the reluctance to go back to Pompton and renegotiate and say, look, we're trying to be reasonable. We understand the concerns, but it shouldn't matter whether this is whatever, 48 inches high or 50 inches high. We're concerned that it can't be more than 60 pounds. And the other thing is, you know, the bears, the compromise, and I don't know what the answer is. I'm not at a lot of meetings. I've had to deal with things in the past, like getting passed off on. We had employees that didn't take care of the sewer system, and we have to pay all the penalties for it and everything else, but that's a total side issue. Are you guys ever accountable to say, hey, are you zone enough to say, we messed up? We told you, we thought we were giving you, you know, there's nothing wrong. We're all human. We make mistakes. But somebody be accountable to say, hey, we're going to try to make this right. By making it right, get a compromise. Go back to them. This is a big contract. You're not talking about pennies here. Say, look, we understand safety is vital for everybody, but let's put a, you know, pay for putting a weight thing on it. And if they're concerned, they put the can on it. If it's over 60 pounds, they leave it with a sticker, over 60 pounds. But if they're 30 pounds, what's the difference whether it was 48 gallons or 45 gallons? Should be no difference whatsoever. And then we're going to have seniors in the winter and ice and all, without those wheels, slip, and then you have, you know, medical costs because we negotiated a bad contract for the town. So, you know, and the same thing everyone's saying. If they said up front, there's going to be multiple changes so we can get that, that's one thing. That wasn't a thing. The case was no changes to your great service. So, you know, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I really wish someone would have the intestinal fortitude to say, let's seriously revisit this and go back to Pompton and get back and let them know that you're fighting for all of us. And again, I respect what you do. I respect and talk to the nice guys that are from Pompton the other day, asking them, hey, I have a 48-gallon tank can. Are they going to let this slide? And he said, I'm sorry. They told us absolutely not. And they looked at me and said, it's no difference to us between, you know, 32, 40. They just don't want to lift, you know. In fairness, you know, everybody can go to a quarry and put out 59 pounds of weight every garbage day, and they'll be thankful that you made them stick to a 32-gallon can or a 45-gallon can. And, you know, then they'll be thankful that they have to do as many cans. You can line up 100 cans with 59 pounds in it. Do you think they're going to like that? Some of us might think of doing that just to thank them for not being negotiating. Make it reasonable. Be reasonable, and they can be reasonable. The 60 pounds makes a lot of sense for anybody lifting. But whether it's 48, 50, 45, it's a real horrible thing to dwell on. Thank you for your time. And I hope that we heard from some kind of resolution or at least decision after this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Elizabeth Penducci, Valley View Avenue, lifelong resident. I wasn't going to say anything, but my take on this whole thing is quite a bit different than everybody else's. I know that we vote in our mayor and council to do the best for Oakland because you guys live here. You're our neighbors. You're our friends. You've gone through the system. Everything that affects us affects you just as well. So you're not doing it to gain anything. I think you negotiated the contract to the best of your abilities. It's more, I think the contract it's probably negotiated more by the attorney and the administrator than you guys specifically because it's not something that you do on a daily basis. And from what I'm hearing, It's not that you guys are not willing to go back to Pompton. From what Rich said, you guys are on a daily call with Pompton. And you've had at least, I think, 2 meetings with Pompton to go over this. So it's not that they're not willing. As far as the can size, and as far as no changes, there were changes. We went from 32 gallons to 45 gallons. 32 gallons has been in the contract with Roselle or Suburban, whoever it was, for forever. Is it Pompton's fault or the town council's fault that 1/3 of Oakland decided to ignore that and go for bigger sizes? I'll be honest with you, mine was oversized. I have a 45 gallon with wheels that cost me $35 at Walmart, okay? But I'm just saying, I wouldn't spend hundreds of dollars on garbage cans. But I don't think it's unreasonable for us to follow the rules. You guys made the change, you increased it. You thought you were doing Oakland a good thing. And for the few people that are objecting to it, you know, you got away with it for all these years. Now you guys suck it up. Why should we make these young DPW guys pick up a 65-gallon tank, you know, garbage can, when you can get a 45-gallon with wheels and put it out? I have 2 for garbage, I have 1 for commingled and 1 for paper. And that's what I roll out. And I just, you know, I went out to the guys, you know, and said, we're not like this. Oakland is not like this. Because they are getting abuse. And shame on any of the Oaklanders that are doing it. Because it's not their fault. Okay? As I said, I grew up here in Oakland. The garbage issue has changed over the years many times. There was times when Oakland had to pay for garbage. And there were times, you know, that we were at once a week for pickup garbage. When things have not been happy, it got changed. This is a temporary blip in the road. Things will change. Now, what I do agree with is what Mike Wad said, is transparency. And I think some of the transparency is not more on the mayor and council's side, but more on the town hall and borough administrator's side. This could have been communicated a lot better. Yes, Oaklanders need to be spoon-fed. We need graphics. We need the little piece of paper with colors saying, this is acceptable for recycle, this is not acceptable for recycle. This is the proper cans that you need, this is not the proper cans that you need. We need that. Yes, every year we get our newsletter and every year we get our calendar with the information, but nobody reads it. I myself included, because as I said, my can was out of compliance too. But if you could just kind of handhold a little bit better, that would go a long way. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duke. Anybody else?
Can we make one more comment?
Hang on, we got another person.
Let's go first.
John Gaffredo, 44 Sioux Ave. I was sitting at home watching this on YouTube and felt compelled to come down based on all the complaining. Thank you for what you said, because it's exactly what I'm going to say. I've lived here for 20 years. I get my garbage and recycling newsletter every year. I know it's posted on the website because I have to check it on a regular basis. And I know that it states in there that we have a 30-something gallon can limit. And everybody's here complaining about 50 and 60 gallon cans. And as somebody who works in making industrial products and deals with 55-gallon drums, they are not things that everyday people move around easily, even if they are on wheels. So I just wanted to thank the mayor and the council for your efforts to try and save the town the town people money in taxes, and yeah, follow the rules and then we won't have problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Just like to add one more comment and not get in an argument over whether we should or shouldn't worry about the fine print of what you send out every year and what's been going on versus what's been accepted in practice versus what's in your contract. Maybe if they read the contract and advertised it and all these back-out clauses and expenses, they might have renegotiated that as well. But the one thing that's amazing to me is they found out from them that 30-something% of the town is going to be affected by this lovely change. No one thought of, let's send out our people and do our own survey and a little research before you make such a financial and massive commitment. You know, most business decisions, most people do inspections before they buy homes. They do inspections before they buy centers. They do things ahead of time and not after the fact say, oh, the contract said that. So all I'm saying is, I think you just dropped the ball to find out from them that 30% were affected. So you basically upset 29% because there's some 1 or 2% that don't care that they have to go out and buy again. But everyone, I think, is getting financially burdened in this economy. And, you know, I would hope that they would do a little more research before they start changing things significantly that affect our pockets. This is supposed to save us money, and it's actually going to cost the town money. Again, thank you for your time, and thank you for what you do.
Is there anybody else? So we can get the Borough Administrator to answer some of the questions? No, one more time?
Yeah, one more time. Dean Trevisani, 207 Ramapo Valley Road. Like I said, I've lived in Oakland for 62 years, and change comes hard a lot of times to some of us. For 62 years, we've been putting out the same garbage cans that we've been putting out today. So there hasn't been, you know, I've lived in this town and I've taken out the garbage because I am a, excuse me, I'm talking. I have taken the garbage out at my house on Manitou Ave, that's where I grew up, and we never had a problem with the garbage, and it wasn't the small garbage cans. Again, one of the problems with the very flimsy 32-ounce, some of those cans, they have very small wheels. I have a driveway that's 250 feet long. Those wheels would last about a week with 50 pounds of weight in them. I have animals that go into my garbage, that the heavier lid on the bigger cans, the raccoons can't get in that anymore. I did have some smaller cans. They weren't 45-gallon, but they were 50-gallon cans, and the raccoons got into those as well. And then there's garbage all over my yard. I do have bears on occasion come into my yard. Even though I'm right here on Ramapo Valley Road. Okay, there's Sandy Beach and stuff is right behind my house basically. So a lot of animals can, and Oak Park, they love to go in there. One night I was in there and there was like 44 deer in Oak Park. We counted them. So it's all wonderful things. I love the animals, and everything else, but it's a pain in the backside to clean it up. All right, so again, I mean no disrespect to anybody. I don't mean any disrespect to the council or anything, but I think this could have been better thought out. And that's really the bottom line. Whether we can go back and maybe renegotiate certain things for maybe three pounds more in a can, maybe that works. I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Whatever it is, whatever the council decides to do, we're going to have to comply at some point. There's no question about it. It's just that change comes hard, and that's all I want to share.
Thank you, Mr.
I want you all to have a good night.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Bill and Steve.
Bill and Steve?
Who was the first?
Bill.
Okay, sorry.
Steve was second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Coons, you want to answer some of these questions that the residents put forward?
Sure, and if I miss anything, just let me know. So sort of taking it from the top, there's a comment about fee escalators in the contract. I believe if you look in the contract, there is differential amounts every year of the agreement, okay? The agreement year to year does increase based on the projections that went into the overall calculation, okay? So it's not a flat every year of the agreement. There are differential rates for that. Termination clauses, there's actually 3 if you read the entire section. One gives us an out if it's determined that Pompton Lakes does not have the ability to provide the service, right? So, and I don't mean 2 weeks in and there's issues there to work out. I mean, if consistently they're not able to provide collection, they just don't have the staffing, whatever it is, we have an out with no cost to us to get out of the agreement. If we determine that we just don't want to be in it anymore, just terminate for convenience, yes, there is a protection in there for Pompton Lakes because upfront, they're incurring costs with capital to buy equipment for this agreement. And then after a year, Pompton Lakes, if they were losing their shirt on this, would have the ability to say, this isn't in our best interest, and we're going to invoke termination as well, right? So we tried to think of the different scenarios that may, lead us to terminate the contract early and address each of those in turn in the agreement, all right? Because essentially here, we really, for the most part, have a flat rate contract here. The amount number that you see in there is what we're paying for that service. There are a couple of things in there. If we need additional services, let's say there's a flood event and we require additional pickups, dumpsters, things of that nature, that would be a separate fee. But that would be the same when, if Suburban was here as well. Back in 2012, I think, for 2011 for Irene, there was an extra cost for that too. If the use of the Pompton Lakes Recycling Center causes a material increase in their cost for that, they have to buy more dumpsters, they have to add staff. There's a reopener in that because we were not able to really precisely estimate what the level of that activity is going to be. We thought that that was fair. But for the most part here, Pompton Lakes is taking on the risk here. If they have their workers working overtime to provide the service, if eventually their vehicle maintenance costs are higher than projected, or their healthcare costs are higher than projected, that's on them, right? We're not paying any more for that. Again, it's a fixed fee based on the schedule that's in the agreement.
Mr. Coons, did the fact that they had on the first day when they were there late at night picking up all the garbage, did that cost us any extra money?
No.
No. All right, thank you.
Okay. As to, competition and the like, I just want to point out, this year's budget, if you take into account the fact that we were with Suburban the first half of the year, the same price as in 2025, and the reduced cost for the second half that we just entered into, there's a cost reduction of almost $250,000 for this budget year. On a whole year basis, that's close to $500,000 in the first year compared to what they're paying last year. It's almost 30%. There's no way Suburban was going to come close to that. It's just not the market that we're in.
Mr. Coons, I hate to cut you off, but I just wanted to mention something regarding whether we negotiated with Suburban.
Yep.
So the way the garbage contracts,
you can't.
The way the garbage contracts work in New Jersey is you have to go out to bid, and anyone's allowed to bid on them. When we go out for road improvement, we get a couple of bids. We go out for garbage for reasons I won't speculate on, but anyone could Google this and read articles in the Bergen Record. You usually only get one bid. If Mr. Coons had gone back to Suburban and said, here's what Pompton Lakes offer us, we offer this, he would be committing an indictable offense. It would be bid rigging, and we would be seeing him let off in handcuffs instead of at the meeting tonight. So we had no ability to negotiate. We have no ability to negotiate with Suburban. There is no, the way that a garbage contract works is it has to go out to bid, and there is the only way.
Hey, come on.
That is the only way in which we can solicit a provider for garbage. Now, we can enter into shared service negotiation like this. We can provide our own service to the town, but as far as asking Suburban whether or not they would provide a better price, it is literally illegal under New Jersey public contracts law.
Did it go to bid?
It did go to bid. Only one company bid. And you can read, there's plenty of articles about this. There's an article in the Bergen Record last year.
Is that true, though? I don't think this went out to bid. I don't think that's true.
It did not go to bid for this contract, period.
We didn't go this year. No. But we have gone in the past. No.
That's my point. There was no competition.
But in the past, when we have gone to bid, there has been no competition. And that is a problem that is prevalent around New Jersey.
New Year.
Okay. Mr. Coons, you want to keep going with your answers?
Yes, so I think I addressed the termination provisions and the cost. And again, I want to point out the numbers that we've put out there, prior to what I spoke about tonight, was based on there being no increase, right? The comparison was if Suburban's cost would have remained unchanged. It was deliberately meant to be conservative so that we would not be, basically accused of trying to overstate the savings. I just want to make that clear.
Typically, what was the increase for Suburban from contract to contract?
It varied. There were certain years that were very heavy, but again, it was like 290% over the last 10 years. When the last time we bid with Suburban, we decided to take 3 years. They bid for 5 years, individual pricing. We decided to take 3 years because the cost in years 4 and 5 were going to be 8% plus increases. So 8% this year, 8% next year. And we didn't think that that was something that we wanted to do at that time. So I want to talk a little bit about the communication and the stuff with the cans again. Obviously, there was a disconnect there to the extent that, there was not the level of communication that should have been. I want to, take responsibility for that, and I apologize if we could have done more here. But honestly, when we were negotiating the contract itself, this was not an issue that was on the table for discussion. It wasn't a known issue. If we had known it, we probably would have addressed it differently. So if that was a miss on our part, I apologize. But that's where we are right now. Okay, did I miss anything? I'm sorry. I know there was a lot of comments there.
Can we address the pickup on Ramapo Valley Road? Okay. Will they be
Right, I mean, that has to do with how they design their routes, but we can certainly go back and ask them to take a look at that, to address that, sure.
I think that's a reasonable request to say do Ramapo Valley Road first before traffic builds up and everything else like that. That's not unreasonable.
And these are all reasonable questions. These are all things that have to be addressed, and we'll address them. It's day 9. It's we're going to do whatever we can to make this work, and be as similar as possible. And we all got surprised with the garbage can size. It's unfortunate. And right away we were all the same. Oh, what do you mean? Suburban did it. Well, they weren't supposed to be doing it, and they were putting their workers at risk. That's on Suburban. Pompton doesn't want to put their workers at risk, and you can't blame them. That's their decision. And the competition, if you go for a shared service, it's a shared service. It's not going out to bid with a private vendor. We're entering into a shared service with a town. So it's a different. It's apples and oranges. You can't. It's not fair to the private companies to be bidding against the towns, and it's not fair to the towns to be bidding against the private companies. So it doesn't work. You can't mix the two. And like they said, it's illegal to have the one guy bid and then say, oh well, this guy could do it, and then try and make him meet that. That's it's all governmental minutia, but you understand why they're separate, because one's a shared service and one is a private entity. And that's it.
Mr. Coons, you apologized to the residents, but in fairness to you and the residents, I don't think it was a lack of transparency or communication once the contract was signed. I thought that communication was fine. As a resident at the time and before making my way up here, I think the frustration was around a contract, a service that was beloved to many in the town and impacts people's lives 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week was going to materially change, and the public didn't know about it until after a contract was signed. These discussions could have been had before the contract was signed, and these lessons could have been learned at that time. So, Mr. Coons, in fairness to you, I appreciate your words, but in fairness to you and the residents, I don't think that it was a transparency issue after the fact. In fact, I think your communication with the residents, once the contract was signed, was perfectly appropriate.
Thank you.
Does anybody else from the council have any comments on garbage? Not seeing it at this time. I think we had a very healthy discussion concerning the garbage. We are going to take back some of the recommendations, and we'll talk to Pompton Lakes about it. But I want to thank everybody for your input. I can tell you I've received multiple emails. I'm sure everybody in this dais has been, received multiple emails about this project. But just please, this is day 9. Day 10 is tomorrow. Getting it a little better every day. And thank you, everybody, for your comments. And we all take it to heart, and we will indeed work through it. So thank you, everybody. All right, Mr. Coons, engineer proposal drainage improvements Lakeshore Drive.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just, sorry, let me just, for a second. So there is a collapsed storm sewer pipe over on Lakeshore Drive. It's about 140 feet long, drains into Crystal Lake. It's a 24-inch pipe. It's developing some sinkholes, and we need to replace it. Due to the termination of the pipe and the outfall, it unfortunately requires DEP permits. So Boswell's provided a proposal to do the required engineering and permit applications. You have the cost breakdown in your packet. $30,000, almost half of that is for the permitting end of it. But we'd like to move ahead with this with a contract in August so we can get started on getting that repair work done.
And Mr. Coons, just to reiterate the fact that $15,000, that is $15,000 of payments to New Jersey DEP for permitting.
Oh no, that's in addition.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Okay, the work required is about $14,000 of effort. The permit fees themselves are estimated at about $12,000.
Just for permits.
And then are there, are they looking at other drainage, are we expecting this to happen anyplace else? Are they, when they go in, are they inspecting anything, making sure that...
So we inspect in accordance with the stormwater management requirements. There is a list of locations. If you recall, we're in the midst of replacing the entire storm sewer system in the Pleasureland neighborhood right now using community development block grants as much as possible. We'll then be moving on. I don't know what the priority is right after that off the top of my head. Separately, there's a priority list that we're putting together to repair outfalls themselves. Those will also require DEP permit applications, and that's likely to probably be a 5 to 10 year effort to repair all of those because we'll do them sort of in phases based on...
Can you just explain what an outfall is for the residents?
It's the actual structure where the pipe terminates into a river or a body of water. You can have collapsed head walls or scour, things like that, that need to get fixed, basically. That tends to be a little pricey as well due to the nature of the work. And again, those require permits too. So you'll probably be seeing a proposal for the first phase of that in August to get started on the permit application for the outfall locations that are going to be in phase 1.
Can you also talk a little bit about the CDBG grants that we get down by River Road in that area, and the fact that we're one of the towns that are very nimble and quickly able to move for grants that other people don't take, Mr. Coons?
Yeah, so this has been a program that's benefited us a great deal. We replaced, over the years, we've done some work at the senior center. We've repaved the roads within the eligible area. It's a section of town that meets the census tract criteria for the grants. We've replaced the water system in the Pleasureland neighborhood. Now we're replacing the storm sewer system in that neighborhood as well. There's a downside at all is you have to sort of do it in small chunks based on the amount of available funding every year to maximize that. And also there's a size limit with the number of linear feet of pipe that you can do to avoid also additional permitting, which slows projects down. So we've been pretty successful in every year getting these projects done on time. We got additional money last year from what are called unprogrammed funds outside of the normal cycle, because the county has requirements that they have to spend down so much of their money within a period of time. So they look to towns that can successfully execute these projects to use up the money. So we've gotten extra money. Matter of fact, I have a call with the director next week about another opportunity for additional money.
Thank you. I just wanted the residents to understand that when these grants come across, Oakland, because we're able to move very quickly, we take advantage of these, and these are unprogrammed funds that other towns can't take advantage of. So thank you, Mr. Cruz.
You're welcome.
So we're going to move this forward, the original conversation, we're going to move that forward for the next meeting and resolution?
Yes.
Anything else on drainage? Not seeing any. Do we have a motion to open to public?
Again?
No, this
So
is,
moved.
this is for the regular for the public.
Oh, right.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody wish to address the council on any other concerns? You're welcome. Not seeing any, do you have a motion to close?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All right, we're up to the mayor's report. Let me get my paperwork in order here. All right, paving updates. For the people that live on the north side of town, for all the public service work, all the paving indeed has been completed on that side of town. We are just waiting for the striping to be completed, and the public service project is closed out at this point, which is good news. There's clearly a lot of ruts. There was a lot of work that was done on that side of town. McCoy Road, that is the Lennar property. As you know, they put in a water main. They also put a force main in for the properties behind Indian Hills. The contractor is hoping to start and repave that road all the way to the municipal line of Franklin Lakes. So that'll be curb to curb for the entire stretch of McCoy Road, paid for by the contractor, not paid for by the borough, because it was part of the work for the Lennar property. On the agenda today, we are going to be approving, the council should be approving the borough paving program. Happy to announce that we are very much ahead of schedule this year. If the council approves it, hopefully we should have all the hopefully, if everything works out right, after the pre-con meeting, all the paving will be done hopefully before Labor Day, if everything lines up properly. So everything got done really early this year. I want to thank our professionals for putting that together. Last Saturday, there was a new program. I'm sure Mr. Saliani is going to expand upon it. There was Soccer Palooza down at Great Oak Park. It was a wonderful get-together for our soccer players in town. They had food trucks, they had tents, all the Chamber of Commerce came out, and it ran from about 12:30 till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. It was a little rainy in the beginning. Happy to announce that the weather changed, and that our children really had a wonderful time for a first-time event. I would certainly call it a success for all the members of the Recreation Commission that put this together, and all the volunteers. Job well done. Thank you. Also, last Sunday at the Van Allen House, there was an open house, and it was a reading of the Declaration of Independence. It's actually pretty moving. We had a good turnout and a good crowd down there. They had an open house. It's really something to, we had people dressed up in period gear and reading the Constitution or the Declaration. It's if anybody gets a chance, you should certainly read it. And, we really learned the history behind it, and it was really a wonderful event. I see Ms. Benducci's here from the Historical Committee, and thank you, everybody, for putting that together. Just to remind everybody, the new electric bike law goes into effect July 19th. Please check the borough website, check the police department Facebook page. Don't going to have to register your bikes. All the information's online. As far as affordable housing, we're supposed to be meeting with the judge next week. It got postponed. It was pushed out a month. So there's no other updates at this time concerning affordable housing. July 25th, 8 to 12 p.m., there'll be paper shredding down at Borough Hall. So if anybody needs paper shredding, July 25th. There's also another concert in the park, July 26th, from 3 to 7 p.m. It's going to be simple. It's the Steve Leonard Band. It's going to be Fish Songs, P-H-I-S-H. So we did have a concert there this last Sunday as well. It was classic rock. I'm going to ask for the August meeting. I'm going to ask our planner and our affordable housing attorney to attend to give us an update on affordable housing. And I'm also going to ask our planner to give us an overview of what we can do for the Burger King property to make it an area of redevelopment and take a look at what we can really move this thing along. The gentleman that owns that property, all his extensions have expired, so there's no more movement on that property. So we really have to take a look at redeveloping that property at this point. Also, I just want to read a statement concerning, we have a resolution that's going to be on the agenda today. It's 26-433 for a study with the police department. Regarding consideration of an independent assessment of the Oakland Police Department, the governing body is considering commissioning an independent third-party assessment of the Oakland Police Department. I want to be transparent with our community about why this step is under consideration and what we hope to accomplish. To be clear about our obligations under the New Jersey Public Meetings Act and other applicable laws, there are boundaries on which can be discussed in open public session. We cannot discuss specific personal items, individual performance, or confidential employment information. We also cannot comment on any ongoing investigation or disclose attorney-client communications, attorney work product, or litigation strategy. When those topics arise, they will be handled in the appropriate confidential form consistent with the laws. The assessment we are considering will focus on policies, procedures, staffing models, training, supervision, and accountability processes. One area of review will be the school crossing guard coverage in designated posts. There was recently a publicly reported incident in which a child was injured near a crossing location. Ensuring safe routes to school remains a top priority. Accordingly, it's imprudent to have these objective reviews by qualified professionals as to this issue. We further aim to confirm the department operations align with applicable requirements and strengthen policies and oversight where appropriate. We will review supervision, training, and accountability processes to support consistency and effectiveness across the department. We will also evaluate hiring and screening processes to confirm that they are thorough and consistent and aligned with established standards. Our aim is to compare our written policies to day-to-day practices against recognized best practices and to recommend improvements where appropriate. Let me be clear, this is not a judgment against the many dedicated officers and employees who serve our community with professionalism every day. Rather, an independent assessment is a tool of good governance. It allows qualified, neutral professionals to evaluate policies, procedures, staffing, training, and supervision, and to recommend improvements free of internal and political influence. My goal is straightforward: a police department whose operations meet the highest standards of safety, compliance, and accountability, and a community that has full confidence in it. The timing of this assessment is deliberate. A change in leadership is a natural moment to take stock. A new chief benefits from this objective to look at the department while setting priorities for the future and gives our new chief the best possible starting point. Further policing standards, training practices, and community exceptions evolve. Reviewing our policies now rather than years down the road means that the department stays current and any needed updates happen on our timeline, not a reaction to a crisis. So this is something that's going to be on the agenda today. It's 26-233. And with that, that concludes my report, and we are now to approval of minutes.
Oh, so moved.
Oh, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, I thought we were doing the open minutes.
Okay. We have approval of minutes, June 23rd, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Does anybody have changes or deletions or corrections? Not seeing anything, roll call.
Council President Talamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dubbert?
Yes.
Councilman Eilert?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
I've got June 23rd, 2026 executive minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Who's got it?
That was Carol Ann.
Carol Ann and
Russ
Mr.
is
Talamini.
second.
If anybody has any changes, it can only be done in executive session. Does anybody have any changes?
Nope.
Not seeing anything? Roll call.
Council President Talamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dumbert?
Yes.
Councilman Eilert?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
All right, up to special announcements. We have the following. We'll do it as a consent agenda. Authorize raffle license RL 1609 for the Bergen County Horse Rescue for a 50/50 on August 8th in the support of care of rescued horses at Holiday Bowl. Authorize raffle license RL 1610 for BPOE 2167, that's the Elks, for a 50/50 on October 10th in support of the Elks charities.
Authorized social affairs permit for the Elks, 2167, for a beefsteak dinner fundraiser supporting a life raft group on October 10th. Authorized social affairs permit for the Elks, Oakland Elks, 2167, for a turkey tray fundraiser in support of the Oakland Elks 2167 on November 21st, 2026. Authorized raffle license RL 1611 for the Oakland Elks 2167 for a 50/50 on December 31st, 2026 in support of Elks Charities at 33 Rampole Valley Road. Authorized raffle license RL 1612 for the BPOE Oakland Elks 2167 for a turkey tray on November 21st, 2026 in support of the Elks Charities. And authorized sign placement, Oakland Franklin Lakes Rotary Club Show, Rotary Club. This is the car show that takes place in September. It's going to be put up from 8/27 through 9/27/26. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Who's got it?
Bill.
Bill. Roll call?
Council President Talamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dumbert?
Yes.
Councilman Eiler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
All right, we're up to resolutions. We'll do this as a consent agenda unless anybody wants any pulled out at the end.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull 26, TAC 223, please.
26223, that
Yes, sir.
is the assessment of the police department, correct?
That's it. Yeah, it
233.
is, yes, sir.
233 or 223?
233.
No,
No, he wants 223. You want the PBA agreement,
We
right?
also want 26-233 pulled as well.
223 we're going to pull out? And
223 and then 233.
233, that's, okay. With the exception of those, we have 26-212 authorized recreation refunds, 26-213 authorized tax refund for overpayment for 25-page drive, 26-214 authorized the granting of tax exemption and refund for exempt veterans, APTOLA. 26-215 authorized a refund to Lapka Associates for a 200-foot list. That is a person that had to make notification for 200 feet around their property for public notification. They like their $10 back. Authorized refund for redaction fees for public service. Authorized purchase of 2 new police vehicles. That's 26-217. 26-218, authorized purchase of 2 DPW trucks. 26-219, hire summer camp counselors. 26-220, rescind dispatcher hire that we approved, the council approved on June 23rd, 2026. That's going to be followed by 26-221 to hire a new police dispatcher. 26-222, hire seasonal laborer Fedini. 26-224, authorize the auction of sales. We had an auction on the town vehicles and excess equipment. The proceeds are approximately $33,000, Mr. Coons, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. 26-225, authorized contract for TNM for a redevelopment study. That redevelopment study is for the Lennar property for the affordable housing, which is behind the high school, required by state statute. 26-226, authorized CEPG Community Energy Plan. 26-227, cancel sewer capital balances. 26-228, extend developers agreement for Lennar. Mr. Coons, you want to just explain why we had to extend that developers agreement because it ran out?
Right, and that's pretty much, so the original developers agreement had a end date in it. They've asked for an extension because they're not done with their project yet. There's a clause in the developers agreement that allows you to extend it at your discretion, and this extends it till the end of 2028 because they're saying that they'll be building until sometime in that year.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, the developers agreement protects the town because it keeps certain bonds in place. If the work were not to be finished, we won't just have holes where the road should be, so it's in the borough's interest to extend. I know it sounds like we're doing the developer a favor, but it's really, the developers agreement is there to protect the borough should the work not be completed, so it's really in the borough's interest to extend this agreement.
Thank you for explaining that to the residents. 26-229, authorize fall girls volleyball program fees. 26-230, authorized Chapter 159 recycling tonnage grant. 26-231, authorized sale of a beverage cooler to the Ponds Food Pantry. And 26-232, award bid for the 2026 road program, and that's what it was part of my mayor's message. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Dumpert. Roll call.
Council President Talamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dumbert?
Yes.
Councilman Eilert?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
All right, we're up to 26223, which was pulled out, authorize ratification of the PBA agreement. Who pulled that out? Mr. Dumper? Go ahead.
No public comment.
What?
No comment.
Oh, no comment? Oh.
Well, somebody has to introduce it.
Yeah, who wants to introduce it?
Do we have a motion to adopt?
You have a motion to approve, yeah.
This is 223,
Motion,
the MOU.
motion to adopt, 223.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
Ms. Saliani. Roll call to authorize it.
Well, first, I need discussion.
All right, any discussion?
This is just a finalization, Rich, this is just a finalization of the
Yeah,
PBA contract.
I was going to say, you authorized the MOA back in the winter, and that's been implemented. This is the ratification of the formal labor agreement itself that implements the MOA. It just took the attorneys a little bit of time to work out exact language and get everything set.
Is this the last step in execution?
This is it, yes. Yeah.
Any other further comments, questions? Not seeing any, roll call.
Council President Talamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dumbert?
No.
Councilman Eilert?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Saliani?
Yes.
All right, we're up to 26233, authorized contract for the Anzaletti Group. That was what I was talking about in my mayor's thing for a independent study of best practices on the police department. Do we have a motion to, who wishes to introduce that? Not seeing anybody? If nobody introduces Mr. Gilson, you want to tell us what happens?
It's just like it never existed.
Okay, just going to make a comment. I'm very disappointed in this governing body that you are not going to take on this opportunity. We have a new captain, a change in the police department, and it's really an opportunity for best governments, good governance, and okay, I guess it dies.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I do these professionally. I know about these studies.
Unfortunately, discussion's over.
There's two ways that these can
No
be.
discussion.
There's two ways that these can be successful, that these can roll out. One is cooperatively, and one is not combatively, but with opposition. I think the relationship between the governing body and the police department. I think right now we should fix the staffing gaps that have plagued this borough and this police department for years. And once staffing is at an appropriate level, trust the senior leadership within the department to do the right thing. These types of studies, and I've done them professionally for major metropolitan police departments, I know exactly what they entail. Giving the police the opportunity to identify their priorities, to close the gaps that they see and recognize themselves with proper staffing. And I know it's not the governing body nor your individual fault that the staffing levels are where they are. I think unnatural gaps and deficiencies would be found in a department if a study like this is taken after years of understaffing and overburdening of officers. I think we can review in the future a study like this, because there is a lot of benefit to doing these types of studies, to identify best practice, to identify where gaps might exist. However, I don't think right now is the right time to do that with this police department. And those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Dumpert, what is the appropriate staffing level?
That's one of the things that we should discuss with the police department. I think if you talk with every rank and file officer, they'll share that they've been understaffed for months and,
That's not what I
years.
asked you.
I don't know the exact staffing. That's a study that will have to take place.
And that's what this study would be providing?
No. This study is far more in depth than that. It is.
So why don't you talk about policies and procedures, since you've done these type of studies? What would that uncover?
So that it's a certified department, so they've gone through this process in recent history, spending $83,000+ to do it while there is a certification process in place now. I don't think is a good use of taxpayer funds, and I think the fact that the governing body didn't introduce it showcases exactly where the governing body feels, exactly what the governing body feels. A review of policies and procedures is to make sure that the de jure matches the de facto, to make sure that the written rule, the written policies, procedures, and protocols are in line with best practice, and that in the field, in practice, they are taking place. And I don't think any member of the public or anybody on this governing body would argue that that's not a good thing. What I'm saying is a study like this would more likely at this point identify things that the department can fix itself if given proper staffing and not relying on short-staffed shifts and calling people in on overtime to achieve business as usual functions.
Anybody else, any discussion? Okay. We'll say it again, I am disappointed. All right, we're up to ordinances. We have no ordinances to bring forward. Anybody have any new business?
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I'll introduce again the second public comment I think should be brought back to council meetings. So I'd like to introduce a motion to bring back the second public comment on evenings like tonight where the public chooses not to engage the council for a second time. I appreciate that. However, it was this governing body that took that right away from its citizens. They took that ability for citizens and our citizenry to talk to and to challenge and to question and to share their thoughts, feelings, and priorities with the governing body. That was removed. I think that was a bad look. I think it was a bad step. I would further like to propose that it be the last thing on the agenda after bills to be paid, prior to the final gavel. So a motion to reintroduce the second public session and have it rest at the conclusion of the meeting right before the gavel drops.
No second.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Mr. Eilert? Do we have a roll call?
Council President Talamini?
No.
Councilman Dumpert?
Yes.
Councilman Eilert?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
No.
Councilman Saliani?
No, with a comment. I thought tonight the governing body did a good job of setting up a issue with the public regarding the garbage. We reworded the agenda, gave everyone their chance to speak, and then did open up the meeting twice. In the past, also, we have opened up the meeting twice when there have been people in the audience and they wanted to speak. So I think this governing body does do a good job with it. It doesn't have to be changed.
Okay.
I think the difference is when things might be controversial, the public has the right to address their governing body and their public officials, and not allowing them to do so, I think, is a stain on Oakland's record. Motion to open to the public.
I'm sorry, I'm new to this, asking questions. Can I ask a question?
Motion to open to the public?
Second. Second? Okay. Everybody all in favor?
Aye.
Need to come up over here.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Who's my example right there? Thank you.
Cheryl Mader, 53 Iroquois Ave. The police issue with having a director or somebody, is this something you've already decided is going to happen? Or is this something that you're thinking about, bringing a civilian in to go over whatever you want him or her to go over about whatever issues you're seeing with the police department? I'm a little confused because this is something I did not have any idea was going to happen. So,
Wait, to clarify, are you asking if the council's considering getting rid of the chief and replacing him with a civilian director? Or are you asking if if this is a study by a civilian?
I think your second part.
I just want to clarify, because
Yes,
under
I
New
know.
Jersey law, you can have a system where you don't have a chief and instead the police department functions under civilian director, which I don't think anyone
So that
on
is
this
not
council
what
has
you're doing.
proposed.
No.
But you're looking to bring somebody in, a civilian, to figure out what's going
So
on
it
that
didn't
might not
get
be.
introduced by the council, but I believe the mayor's suggestion was to have an outside company, or Rob Anzalotti, who's a former chief of the county detectives, believe, he's a law enforcement official, runs a private company to do an assessment of the police department. It wasn't introduced by the council, but I just want to clarify, I don't think anyone's introduced the idea of a civilian director
Okay.
that the police
But
report to
somebody
rather
to
than a
come
chief.
in to just take a look at what's
So
going
it's
on.
like an audit.
Okay.
Come in, take a look, what's our best practices, what needs to be improved, how can we make it, it's really an opportunity for the department to grow and be, it's an audit, how things going.
All right, so this is something you have already decided you will do?
No, the council
No.
said no. I wanted to bring it forward, the council said they wouldn't even introduce it, which means it's dead.
So then this is, okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Again, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take time from
Yep.
you, but
No,
I just did
that's what
not
we're here for.
quite understand.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any more old business?
Motion to close.
Oh, motion, yep. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Any more old business? All right, we are up to,
Well, Mayor,
Committee
old
lead-
business, did you get any more updates on the bird property?
I
He covered that. Oh, did he?
yeah, I addressed it.
Apologies if I missed it. Please-
Yeah, no, I
please
addressed
remind
it
me.
in the
Been a long
mayor's meeting. Yeah, no, I addressed it in the mayor's meeting. I want to bring our planner back here at the August meeting so that she can walk the council through what's required for a redevelopment study, so you guys can appropriate funds and see what we can do to move that property along.
Sorry about that, Mayor.
Yeah, that's fine. Some liaison reports. We'll start with Mr. Eiler.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The outdoor market had they had a nice opening on Saturday, good showing, good turnout. And then they had the concert in the park on that Sunday, which is another great turnout. It's a great event. I think people should definitely try to check it out. Their next open market is going to be on July 25th from 10 to 3. And the next concert is going to be on that Sunday, the 26th, from 3 to 7. And it's the music of Simple, which is basically they play fish music. So, it's actually a really cool band, and I definitely recommend everybody checking it out. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Councilwoman?
All right, thank you. So this year we are going to have a 9/11 memorial for 25 years of the memorial. It's going to be a service that will be held at the Veterans Park at 6 p.m. All are welcome to attend. There will be like refreshments afterwards. And, we'll have more details as, we start finalizing the plans for it and everything. But it'll be a great event for the town. Shade Tree, not much to report there. Forester did issue about 50 permits for tree removals. 131 trees were removed, 37 to be replanted. And so far to date, year to date, there have been 362 trees removed. As to the deer management, committee will reach out to the DEP Wildlife to conduct a presentation for the council so that we know what our options are going to be in the future. And access for all, we had mentioned how Jody was stepping down, and the new person who is taking over for her and is very talented is Natalie Gregory, and we welcome her to the committee as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Saliani.
Yes, start real quick. The chief from the fire department asked me to please, we had someone inducted to the fire department tonight. We saw Mr. McDermott. They're still looking for more volunteers. If anyone is interested in joining the fire department, please reach out, or at 7:30 on Mondays at Yapo, they do drills. Please go out, introduce yourself, find out what it takes to be a volunteer. The more volunteers they get, the better it is for all of us, so please consider being a volunteer. I want to piggyback off two things the mayor said. The last 2 weekends, we've been reading the Declaration of Independence, the Historical Committee. I want to say it was a great job. More importantly, Mayor, I think this Sunday, there was about, 50 people there?
Yeah,
40 people there.
nice crowd.
It was very, very nice. What'd you say? 80 people there. So I want to thank the Historical Committee for doing that and all the efforts they did to get that done. Regarding recreation, we're kind of in the downtime, but to the mayor's comment, there's about 400 people we started an event this year. So I want to Soccer Palooza. So the Recreation Commission, and they continue to do these things. They do these events and they're building on it. We had MC, we had a DJ. I would say we had about 400 people through it. We had vendors donating their time and energy. I think for the first year it was an absolute success. And there are already plans about doing it next year and how to make it bigger and better. So I really want to thank the Rec Commission for continuing their views, ideas of how to do stuff for the community and engage kids. Our goal next year is to engage more kids from the programs and get more kids there. A couple comments that I've gotten out. People didn't understand about Great Oak Park, what was there. I had several people walk up to me that, Great Oak Park, we have concerts here, so we have to do our best as a council to promote the park so people start understanding what we have. Also, for recreation, there was a on the agenda, the course agenda was approved. Appreciate Recreation helping the community. They're working with Ponds Church. They're donating a recreation cooler. This way, it'll help Ponds Church store food and allowing them to accept and store more food. So I want to thank Recreation for doing that. And they have guilted me into paying for it. So the $1 that we have to pay for transition, Wendy, I don't know if I have to give you a dollar bill or a check, but I will pay the $1 so Ponds doesn't have to pay the $1.
Councilman, thank you.
No problem. That's all my reports tonight.
That's it. Councilman Dunford. Councilman Saliani, I want to just echo the event in Great Oak Park, the Soccer Palooza. I shared with you privately. I thought that was a phenomenal event. So to the Rec Commission and everybody that was involved, that was fantastic. I think that put Oakland's best foot forward. I think that park and the opportunity that we have as a borough to bring our community together and host more events there, I think that's going to continue to grow in popularity. And I wanted to say thank you and to the Rec Commission for putting that together. My family enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and I think everybody who attended enjoyed it. So a really good event to put Oakland's best foot forward. Thank you. From the DPW, I'll avoid the garbage discussion because we talked about that earlier. There will be change-outs to water mains coming in the next couple of weeks and months. There are not expected to be any service interruptions, and that's being carefully choreographed with some of the other public works so that if there does need to be street opening, that's scheduled and choreographed well. Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the street paving contract, which being ahead of schedule, which I think is fantastic news and music to a lot of Oaklanders' ears. There is going to be software updates to the meters. The meter reading software is going to be updated, and interestingly, and to a homeowner, I'm happy to see that there's going to be a cellular functionality, so it'll save DPW time, energy, effort, and money and resources. They don't have to drive around and check meters anymore. It'll have cellular connectivity, so the meter readings can be done remotely. It will also have, which is the interesting part, anomaly detection. So if it notices an extreme use of water at a time that doesn't line up with historical data, that can notify not only DPW, but likely the homeowner as well. So you might be able to catch leaks, you might be able to catch overuse earlier than otherwise. And lastly, in an interest in keeping up with technology, I want to give kudos to the DPW. They're going to be using iPads that have artificial intelligence overlay to drive around the borough, and as they're driving, performing their normal duties, the cameras on the iPads will be able to intake the conditions of the road, the sidewalks, the signage, all the things that DPW is responsible for. Right now, there's a dedicated effort. There's times in the schedule when DPW goes out and they drive really slow around the neighborhoods and they try to identify where the potholes are, where there's crumbling around the storm drains, where there might be curbs that are broken. And this, again, takes time, money, energy, resources. Very forward-leaning, very forward-thinking to identify some technology with artificial intelligence overlay that as they're driving around performing their normal business-as-usual duties, the software will be taking in the condition of all of those things and sending sometimes automatic alerts when something is critical that it needs to be fixed. So a really, really smart application of technology. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Talamini.
Other than to say thank you to everyone for being patient with the garbage issue. It's we never promised you a rose garden. It's a difficult process. We had hoped the launch would have been smoother. It was not. That's on us and Pompton. But thank you to everyone who's patient and understanding. And again, I apologize to anyone that I was short with. And thank you to everyone up here. That's what made it.
Apologies at the rest, thanks.
Before we go to bills to be paid, Mr. Coons, you want to just explain to everybody the changeover that's taking place with our emails and the .gov, so people understand that there's no hiccups as we go through this transition. It's very important, especially when communicating with the governing body.
So except for the police department, which is on its own system, everybody else, we have a .org. It is now a .gov, so you can update that. I'll make sure that the website is updated to reflect all of that. But we're using same emails as before, just .gov instead of .org at the end. If you do happen to send something still to our .org addresses, it will forward to the .gov addresses for the next month or so before that functionality turns off. Okay, we did have some stuff going out on Facebook. We'll make sure it's in the newsletter and e-blast and the like too. So that was a big change that we've all had to deal with and implement over the last week. So
Thank you. All right, up to bills to be paid. Council.
Bills to be paid is $851,276.19. So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Eiler. Roll call?
Council President Talamini?
Yes.
Councilman Dumpert?
Yes.
Councilman Eilert?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rose?
Yes.
Councilman Zaliani?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Talamini, Ms. Rose?
Yes.
Before we adjourn, I
All
just...
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sorry.
Just before we hit the gavel here, I just want to thank the residents for coming out today and the discussion that the governing body had concerning the garbage and making sure residents' concerns have been heard. I thought it was a very productive meeting, and as we move forward, please be patient. We'll get through this. With that being said, meeting adjourned. Next council meeting will be held Tuesday, August 11th at 7 p.m. here at Council Chambers. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.